Hello everyone, Dr. Robert Clark here. Let's talk about your pantry. You open that door, perhaps a little hungry, and you reach for a can of soup for a quick lunch. Or maybe you grab a handful of what you believe are healthy snacks to tide you over. You're thinking you're making a smart choice, a responsible choice for your body. But what if I told you that for your kidneys, especially now that you're over 60, some of those seemingly innocent foods could be doing hidden, silent damage? In my more than 3 decades as a physician specializing in the health of our senior community, I have seen this exact scenario play out time and time again. A patient comes into my office, their lab results show declining kidney function, and they are utterly baffled. But Dr. Clark, they'll say, I eat healthy. I avoid junk food. The problem is, the real culprits aren't always the obvious ones. They're hiding in plain sight on our pantry shelves, disguised by clever marketing and misleading labels. The good news is that once you know what to look for, you can protect yourself. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. I promise that by the end of this video, you'll be able to walk to your pantry, pick up any can or box, and know with confidence whether it's a friend or a foe to your kidneys. Before we dive in, it's crucial to understand why this is so important right now. In this stage of your life, kidney function naturally begins to decline as we age. It's a normal part of the process. Think of your kidneys as a pair of incredibly sophisticated, hard-working filters. Over a lifetime, they can process about 200 quarts of blood every single day, sifting out waste products and excess fluid. But after 60 or 70 years of this relentless work, the tiny filtering units within the kidneys, called nephrons, can start to wear out. This means your body becomes much more sensitive to certain minerals that healthy, younger kidneys would handle with ease. The big 3 we need to worry about are sodium, phosphorus, and potassium. An overload of these can put immense strain on aging kidneys, accelerating their decline. And here's a statistic that should get your attention. A staggering 1 in 3 adults in the United States has chronic kidney disease. And for those over 65, that number is even higher. The most frightening part, the vast majority of people have no idea. Kidney disease is often called a silent killer because it can progress for years without any noticeable symptoms. That's why what's in your pantry matters so much. It's your first line of defense. So, grab a notepad and let's start this journey together. Let's turn confusion into clarity and fear into empowerment. Let's begin with one of the most common culprits lurking in our pantries: canned foods. The convenience is undeniable, but the hidden cost to your kidneys can be immense. We'll start with the most popular of them all, canned soups. I had a patient, let's call her Margaret, a wonderful 78-year-old woman who came to me with swelling in her ankles and rising blood pressure. She was convinced she had a healthy diet. Her favorite lunch? A simple can of chicken noodle soup. It felt comforting, light, and easy. When we looked at the label together in my office, she was shocked. A single serving, which is often just half the can, contained over 800 milligrams of sodium. Since she ate the whole can, she was consuming over 1,600 milligrams of sodium in one small meal. For someone with aging kidneys, that is a tremendous burden. Think of it this way: when you consume that much sodium, your body holds onto extra water to dilute it. This increases the volume of blood in your bloodstream, which in turn raises your blood pressure. For your kidneys, which are already working harder, this is like trying to force a river through a garden hose. The constant high pressure damages those delicate filtering nephrons I mentioned earlier. The safer alternative? Look for soups explicitly labeled low sodium, meaning they have 140 milligrams or less per serving. Better yet, making a large pot of homemade soup on the weekend and freezing it in portions gives you complete control. Next are canned vegetables and beans. They seem healthy, right? And they can be, but you have to be a detective. The danger here isn't just sodium, but a hidden additive, phosphorus. Manufacturers often add chemical phosphorus compounds, like sodium phosphate, to canned goods to preserve color and texture. Now, your body handles naturally occurring phosphorus in foods like beans or dairy just fine. It absorbs it slowly. But this chemical, inorganic phosphorus, is a different beast. Your body absorbs almost 100% of it, and it hits your bloodstream like a tidal wave. For kidneys that are already struggling to filter waste, this is a disaster. It can lead to a dangerous buildup of phosphorus in the blood, which can pull calcium from your bones, making them brittle, and can even cause dangerous calcium deposits in your blood vessels and heart. So, how do you spot it? You have to read the ingredients list. Look for any word containing PHOS, like decalcium phosphate, sodium phosphate, or phosphoric acid. If you see those words, put the can back on the shelf. The safer choice for vegetables is frozen with no salt added, or fresh, of course. For beans, buying them dried and soaking them overnight is the best option. If you must use canned beans, look for no salt added versions and rinse them thoroughly under running water. A good rinse can wash away up to 40% of the added sodium and some of the preservatives. A question I often get is, Dr. Clark, what about the light or healthy choice versions? This is where marketing can be so deceptive. A soup might be light in calories, but still packed with sodium. A can of vegetables might be all natural, but still contain those dangerous phosphorus additives. Your best defense is not the marketing on the front of the can, but the nutrition facts and ingredient list on the back. It's your roadmap to protecting your kidney health. Now let's move on to the next aisle in our pantry investigation, the condiments and sauces. These are what I call the sneaky salt bombs, because a single tablespoon can undo all your other healthy efforts for the day. They seem so small and insignificant, but their impact on your kidneys is anything but. Let's talk about soy sauce. I remember a patient, Arthur, a 68-year-old gentleman who loved to cook. He'd proudly tell me about his healthy vegetable stir-fries filled with broccoli, carrots, and lean chicken. But his blood pressure was stubbornly high, and his kidney numbers were starting to slip. The culprit? He was dousing his healthy stir-fries in soy sauce. A single tablespoon of traditional soy sauce can contain an astonishing 900 to 1,000 milligrams of sodium. That's more than half of the recommended daily intake for someone on a kidney-friendly diet, all in one spoonful. Arthur thought he'd found a solution: low-sodium soy sauce. This is a critical point I need everyone to understand. When manufacturers remove sodium, they often replace it with something else to maintain the flavor. In the case of many low-sodium products, that replacement is potassium chloride. Now, for a person with healthy kidneys, a little extra potassium is not a problem. But for someone with compromised kidney function, it can be extremely dangerous. Healthy kidneys are responsible for filtering excess potassium out of your blood. When they can't do that job efficiently, potassium levels can rise to toxic levels, a condition called hyperkalemia, which can cause heart palpitations and even lead to a heart attack. This is a perfect example of why you can't just look at one number on the label. You have to be a savvy health detective. The smarter swap for soy sauce would be coconut aminos, which are naturally lower in sodium, or a very small amount of a reduced sodium soy sauce where you've checked the ingredients and confirmed there is no added potassium chloride. Next up, ketchup and salad dressings. Ketchup can have 150 to 200 milligrams of sodium per tablespoon, and it's also loaded with added sugars, which contribute to inflammation and can worsen conditions like diabetes that are major risk factors for kidney disease. A simple slice of a fresh, ripe tomato on your burger is a much better choice. Salad dressings are just as tricky. A creamy ranch or Caesar dressing can pack 150 to 300 milligrams of sodium, plus those phosphorus additives we just discussed to keep them smooth and shelf-stable. The absolute best choice you can make for your salads and your kidneys is a simple homemade vinaigrette with olive oil, vinegar, and your favorite herbs like oregano or dill. You get all the flavor with none of the kidney-damaging additives. Have you ever stopped to think about how much of these sauces you actually use? Do you measure a tablespoon, or do you just pour it on until it looks right? This is a question I want you to ask yourself next time you reach for that bottle. The small serving sizes on the labels are often unrealistic and can give you a false sense of security. Always double or even triple the numbers on the label to reflect a more realistic portion, and you'll see how quickly these sneaky salt bombs can add up and put your kidneys in jeopardy. Let's venture deeper into the pantry, to a section that often gives people a false sense of security: the healthy snacks. We're told to snack on nuts, to have some cheese for calcium, But for those of us over 60 concerned about kidney health, these foods can be a minefield. The key is understanding why they can be problematic and learning how to incorporate them safely. First, let's talk about processed cheese, like those individually wrapped slices or the spreadable cheese in a tub. The convenience is tempting, but they are a double-edged sword for your kidneys. They are not only high in sodium, but they are also loaded with those same phosphorus additives we found in canned goods. Remember, this is the inorganic, highly absorbable phosphorus that is so damaging to your bones and blood vessels. If you see sodium phosphate or calcium phosphate on the label of a cheese product, it's a clear red flag. A much safer choice for a creamy, high-protein snack is low-sodium cottage cheese or Greek yogurt. You get the calcium and protein without the dangerous additives. Another big area of confusion is nuts and seeds. For years, we've been told they are fantastic for heart health, and they are. They're full of healthy fats and fiber. However, they are also naturally very high in potassium and phosphorus. For someone with healthy kidneys, this is perfectly fine. But if your doctor has told you that you need to watch your potassium levels, a large handful of almonds or sunflower seeds could be enough to push you into a danger zone. This is a classic example of how a food that is healthy for the general population may not be healthy for you and your specific medical needs. Does this mean you can never eat nuts again? Not at all. The good news is that portion control is everything. Instead of a large handful, limit yourself to a small, measured amount, maybe 6 to 8 almonds or a tablespoon of sunflower seeds. And always choose the unsalted versions. The labels on nuts and seeds often won't list the potassium or phosphorus content. So this is where working with your doctor or a renal dietitian is key. They can help you understand which nuts are lower in these minerals and what a safe portion size looks like for you. Let's tackle another popular healthy snack, pickled items like olives or pickles. While the cucumbers and olives themselves are fine, the brine they are sitting in is a concentrated bath of sodium. A few pickles can easily contain over 500 milligrams of sodium. It's one of the fastest ways to overload your system. If you love that crunchy, tangy flavor, try snacking on fresh veggies like cucumber slices or bell pepper strips with a little hummus. Just be sure to choose a hummus brand without a lot of added salt. Finally, I want to bust a myth about certain superfoods. Foods like quinoa, whole grain bread, and bran cereals are often promoted as the pinnacle of health. And while they are rich in fiber, they are also naturally high in phosphorus and potassium. Again, this is not a problem for most people. But if you have stage 3, 4, or 5 kidney disease, your doctor may have specifically told you to limit these foods. It can feel incredibly counterintuitive to be told to avoid a healthy food. I had a patient who was diligently eating bran cereal every morning, thinking he was doing the best thing for his health, but he was inadvertently making his kidney condition worse. This is why personalized medical advice is so crucial. What's a superfood for your neighbor might not be a superfood for your kidneys. This all might feel overwhelming, I know. You're probably thinking, Dr. Clark, how am I supposed to remember all of this at the grocery store? That's why this next section is the most important one. We're going to do a label reading masterclass. I want to empower you to become your own health advocate. I want you to be able to pick up any package and know within 60 seconds if it's safe for you. Let's imagine we're holding a can of minestrone soup right now. The first thing your eyes should go to is the nutrition facts panel. First, find the serving size. This is the sneakiest trick in the book. The manufacturer might list the serving size as 1/2 cup. Be honest with yourself. Are you only going to eat half a cup of soup? Likely not. You're probably going to eat the whole can, which might contain 2 or 3 servings. So, you must mentally multiply all the numbers on that panel by the number of servings you'll actually consume. Next, look for sodium. Your goal for a food item to be considered low sodium is 140 milligrams or less per serving. You might see labels that say reduced sodium. This sounds good, but it can be very misleading. A product that originally had 1,000 milligrams of sodium per serving can be labeled reduced sodium if it now has 750 milligrams. That's still far too high for a kidney-friendly diet. Don't be fooled by the marketing claims on the front. Trust only the numbers on the back. While you're looking at the sodium, glance over at the percent daily value. As a general rule, 5% DV or less is low, while 20% DV or more is high. This can be a quick way to gauge if the product is a high sodium offender. Now, for the minerals that often aren't listed, phosphorus and potassium. Potassium is sometimes listed, but phosphorus rarely is. This is where you have to put on your detective hat and read the ingredients list. As we discussed, you are scanning for any word that contains PHOS. I want you to remember that acronym, PHOS. If you see phosphoric acid, sodium phosphate, polyphosphates, anything with PHOS, it's a sign of those harmful chemical additives. Put it back. For potassium, if it's not listed on the nutrition panel, you are again looking at the ingredients for the words potassium chloride. This is the salt substitute we talked about. If you have been told to watch your potassium, this ingredient is a major red flag. Let me share a quick story. I had a patient, David, who was doing everything right. He was buying low sodium everything, but his potassium levels were creeping up, and we couldn't figure out why. One day he brought in his low sodium and tomatoes. The sodium was indeed low, but when we scanned the ingredients, there it was, potassium chloride. He had no idea. It's a perfect illustration of how you have to look at the whole picture. So, what's the takeaway from our masterclass? 1. Check the serving size first, and be realistic. 2. Aim for sodium under 140 milligrams per serving. 3. Scan the ingredients for PHOS words to avoid phosphorus additives. 4. Scan the ingredients for potassium chloride if you have potassium restrictions. Reading labels is not about restriction, it's about awareness. It's the single most powerful skill you can develop to take control of your kidney health and ensure you're nourishing your body safely. We've covered a lot of ground today, and I understand if your head is spinning a little. We've unmasked the hidden dangers in cans, sauces, and even so-called healthy snacks. But I don't want you to leave here feeling fearful of your own pantry. My goal is to empower you, not frighten you. You are now armed with knowledge that can fundamentally change the course of your health. So let's bring it all together with a simple, actionable plan for a pantry makeover and a list of truly safe and tasty alternatives. You don't have to throw everything out and start from scratch tomorrow. The key is to start small. The next time you go grocery shopping, commit to this. Stick to the perimeter of the store. This is where you'll find the fresh fruits and vegetables, the lean proteins, the things that don't come in a can or a box with a long list of ingredients. When you do venture into the center aisles, use your new label reading skills. Pick up your usual brand of canned beans and compare it to a no-salt added version. You'll be amazed at the difference. Let's talk swaps. Instead of high-sodium canned soup, try a low-sodium broth and add your own fresh or frozen vegetables and some shredded chicken. Instead of salty soy sauce, try a splash of rice vinegar, a dash of sesame oil, and some fresh ginger and garlic to flavor your stir-fries. Instead of reaching for processed cheese slices, try a dollop of low-sodium cottage cheese on a whole-grain cracker. For a crunchy snack, instead of salted nuts or pickles, try baby carrots, celery sticks, or slices of bell pepper. The foundation of a kidney-friendly diet is simple. Eat food that is as close to its natural state as possible. The most important message I can leave you with is one of hope. You are in the driver's seat. Your kidneys have been working hard for you for a very long time, and now you have the tools to help them continue to do their job well for years to come. It all starts with that first conscious choice in the grocery aisle, that first label you read, that first swap you make in your pantry. You are not alone in this journey. Thousands of people are learning to navigate this right alongside you. I want to encourage you to be a part of this community. Please go to the comments section below and share one thing that surprised you today. Was it the phosphorus in canned soup? The potassium chloride in salt substitutes? Sharing what you've learned helps reinforce it for you and might just help someone else who is reading. Thank you for taking this time for your health today. If you found this information valuable, please subscribe to the channel for more tips on how to protect your health and thrive after 60. And please, share this video with a friend or a family member. It could be the most important pantry makeover they ever do.